you know, you were right and I was wrong, and I'm okay to admit that, right? Because I'll tell you why. When I first started covering aliens and UFOs back in January of this year, because of the Miami Mall incident, I think there's a couple of months actually before that, because it was the first time I actually covered it was the Las Vegas family that saw aliens in their back garden. That was almost like a soft launch, right? But January hit hard, and that's where we started like really talking about UFOs and aliens. But when I first approached it, it was exciting. I was like a kid in a sweet shop. It was all going well. The engagement was great, and it was like a fresh start to my channel as well. I was like, this is so cool, you know. And I approached it in the mindset of, let's just cover it. It's cool, man. You know, aliens, UFOs, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Where. X-Files, which I loved as a kid, you know. I wanted to believe. And you were all telling me, hang on, before I get there. But so then I started looking into other things of like how I was connecting certain dots, right? And then people were saying, oh, Ben, yeah, you've got it. Didn't you know that? But it was all happening for me in real time. And it was exciting, right? But yeah, I still was taking it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, right? I was enjoying the moment. And I've just begun to realize that this, if you were to imagine a circle of alien or UFO, it spider webs right out, and it's linked to so many things, in my opinion, and what I've sort of found out already. And when I started making those like bridges, I was bridging the gaps. I mean, you saying it from the very beginning, to be fair. You were saying, Ben, congratulations, you're going down the rabbit hole. Or Ben's going down the rabbit hole. Or you wait, Ben, because this rabbit hole never ends. And all this sort of stuff. And I was like, yeah, mate, don't worry about it. Honestly, it's cool, man. Don't worry. I'm just going to take it with a pinch of salt. It's just a little bit of entertainment. I love covering it. It's all cool. But I do have to admit, what I've found is that I've begun to take this more seriously now than I ever thought I would. And I really enjoy it. One thing that gives me inspiration is seeing progress, having something to aim towards, right? I always work best like that, and I'm always happiest like that, where I've got something, where something's building up, where something's generating, and I'm heading towards a target. And I feel that this is like a natural progress for me. So since I've been away on holiday, as always, the UFO and alien community world has gone crazy and so much stuff's happening. It's probably too much to go over on one video, so I'm going to have to spread it out. So sorry if some of this is a little bit old news for you. I mean, it's not really old news, but these are my thoughts, opinions, and videos and things that I've got for you, right? But before we get into that stuff, I want you to just take a look at this, because I'm not too sure if this is real. If this is real, I don't know why the whole world isn't talking about it right now. Okay, this was sent to me by the name of Ikwakakarag Itiardigartputyu. I think that's how I pronounce the name. Okay. And the account is called Polarity Media. I think that's pronounced the name of it. This is mad.
This is so wild. So this man called Cliff High developed a software program over 20 years ago that scanned the entire internet and analyzed thematic patterns and language that people were using all over the world to predict the future. Cliff High believed in our individual subconscious intuition, but he also believed in our interconnected consciousness that we all draw from whether we're aware of it or not. So using a technique that he called predictive linguistics, he wrote a program that was able to analyze all the keywords and phrases and thematic patterns and assigned them an emotional value. It then uses a formula to gauge our emotional tensions and write a report on events that will happen in the future. Now, these predictions all came with a precondition that Cliff called temporal markers. And that's kind of like a precursor event, like a trigger event that has to happen before the prediction will come true. So the prediction will not happen until or unless the temporal marker or the trigger event happens first. So what did this program predict? Way back in 2009, this is crazy, honestly. The software program reported of a battle in our skies that got chaotic and out of hand between military jets and UFOs, and also, interestingly, UFOs against other UFOs. And this would mark the beginning of an era where non-human intelligence became a part of our everyday reality. And this was all to take place roughly 39 days after the trigger event happened, so after that temporal marker event. And that temporal marker event was Donald Trump being interviewed by Joe Rogan, which just happened the other day and is already the biggest podcast of all time. But let me explain why this is so wild. In 2009, when this prediction was made, Joe Rogan was far from being a household name like he is today. His podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, had its very first episode in December 2009. And back then, it was literally just Joe and a couple of his mates on their webcams in their lounge room. He had hosted Fear Factor, and he was the commentator for the UFC back then, but even then, the UFC was way smaller than what it is today. And Donald Trump being the president was not even in the conversation. In 2009, he was just a real estate mogul and the guy from The Apprentice. This kind of prediction back then was so far out of
39 days. Like, hang on a second. If that's real, mate. Hang on. 39 days. Joe Rogan. Trump. 26th of October. 26th of October. And it was, he said 39 days. So the 4th of December. So the 4th of December. So according to this then, on the 4th of December is when shit's gonna go down. Alright? We're gonna have UFO battles in the sky. So the reason I wanted to show you that first, take it or leave it, whatever. But what's been happening in the UK at the moment is pretty strange and weird and incredible for the UFO world, right? And now, I'm going to touch on something which is annoying me, but let's just bring it back for a second. Obviously, in the UK, we've got a whole load of different RAF bases, okay? However, 3 of them at the moment, which are being occupied by the US, 3 of them have had swarms of drones hovering over these RAF bases. Okay, RAF Lakenheath, Mildenhall, and Suffolk. Right, these 3 military bases currently have they're like American bases right now. Okay, all the US soldiers are there doing their thing, and there are drones, swarms of drones have been spotted above these air bases. Right? Now, what's starting to really piss me off is we've gone from UFO to UAP to now drones, because now it seems like everything in the sky is drones. And it's really starting to do my nut. Not because of the change of the terminology, right? Because I'm not saying that they've changed from UFO to UAP to drones. What I'm trying to get at is it seems like they are dismissing UAP and they're just calling everything now drones to try to not let us freak out. Forget about the whole UAP situation which is going on. Don't worry, they're just drones. They're just swarms of drones going over UK air bases, right? Full of American soldiers right now. It's just drones, right? It's probably just a DJI Mini 2, which I bloody got. It's just drones. Look, they're so innocent. Look at these little innocent drones. It's just drones. What are you worried about? It's just swarms of drones all over the airbase. It's just drones. Okay? Yeah? No. Clearly, these things aren't just your standard drones, mate, right? Here's some drone pictures. Boom. I've just shown you a drone, right? Here's some drones. Okay? Right? These here. Drones. 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 Okay? We've got technology called AUKUS. This basically is a technology that can be fired into the sky that scramble the signal for these drones and they just fall out of the sky. Okay? And there's 3 different methods of trying to take these things down. Right? They can either fall down or they could do something where it just automatically, by autopilot, goes back to their owner, okay, or where the handset is. And there's another way as well, okay? But what I'm trying to get at is you don't... these drones have been spotted there for weeks. Again. This has just happened again, right? I'm sorry. They're saying this could be, like, personal hobbyists. Mate, just stop it. Just stop it. These aren't hobbyists. What lunatic? Right, first of all, you're going to have a whole load. You're going to have a swarm of lunatics, all with drones, all migrate to the same bloody location, right, with their drones, over a RAF base. Not just 1, but 3, all at the same time. So you're going to have 3 swarms of lunatics, all having drones, and all decide to fly them over the Air Force base. Right? Just stop it. And then you say, this technology that you've got, why don't you just use the AUKUS and just drop these things if they are just drones, right? Or if they don't work, you've got guns, right? You've got lasers. Haven't the UK just made something called Dragon Flame or something like that? That can literally, from a mile away, hit a penny, a pence piece. And it costs like 15 quid a laser, right, to do. And you can't even, it just... You're dead. You don't even know anything about it. Isn't that called Dragon Breath or something we've got? Just use that. 15 quid, boom. 30, boom. Like, just go. And okay, there is different types of drones. I get that. There's military drones, right? Military drones. These ones here. Okay? Look at this bad boy. Brrr. Now, if they were those drones flying about, I'm sure they would be referring to them as military drones. Yeah? And I did a video a while ago, and was it Louis Elizondo? He was saying about, or somebody was saying about these drones. What was the drone These drones are like, what was it, 10 meters or 100 foot each or something like that. It was on a video I did. It was drones over airbase. So it was Langley in 2023 December, right? In Langley Airport, apparently these drones were like, what was it, 10 meters wide or something like that. It was like ridiculous size. I mentioned it on one of my other videos. I can't remember, but they were huge, okay? But what I'm saying is if they were military drones, they're going to say military drones and shit's going to hit the roof, mate. If unidentified military drones, right, from a different country or something is going to be flapping around 3 UK naval RAF bases or American RAF bases, all right? It's going to hit the fan. So I don't know what I'm getting at. I've got to calm down a little bit because it's stressing me out, right? What I don't... Listen to this. So look, I've calmed down a little bit, all right? I was getting a little bit ahead of myself, okay? Because let's be honest, I could be wrong, right? I could be taking this way out of context and, you know, what do I know? In comparison to the military of defense, the government, what do I know? Probably not as much as them, okay? So there is a reason why they're talking about this. But I want you to see this video clip now as well. Because this added fuel to the fire which is burning inside me right now, because this is the guy that was referring to these things as drones. Just take a listen. Big shout out to UAP News as well.
But the bottom line is, again, still assessing what these are, and, you know, just don't have anything further to pass along. I'd refer you to U.S. Air Forces in Europe, which I'm sure you're in contact with, just to keep in touch on the latest on that.
And can you share anything yet about how you guys are detecting or countering them?
Again, I don't want to get into the specifics in terms of tactics, techniques, and procedures as it relates to force protection. Certainly, we have a variety of means at our disposal, and we will protect our personnel and our facilities. But, you know, again, just to kind of put this into context, you know, even here in the United States, right, if there are drones that are being flown by hobbyists or some other entity, you want to make sure that you're doing due diligence not only to protect yourself and the safety of others, but also using appropriate measures in order to not inadvertently create second and third order effects. In other words, potentially harming the civilian communities in which we operate in and around. So,
well, by firing up a beam to just drop these drones down, they know they should be flying above air bases. So you know the rules. Don't do it. Bring them down.
Again, right now the assessment is that these drones have had no operational impact or safety impact on our personnel at any of these facilities. We're keeping a close eye on them. We're of course communicating very regularly with the UK host nation authorities, and we'll take appropriate measures again to protect our personnel and our people. Sure.
Just a quick follow-up. Have there been any drone incidents domestically since October?
That's a hard question to answer, Jen, because I mean the reality is on any given day, you know, Pat Ryder, hobbyist drone pilot, can fly my drone next to a base and it's in and it's out. And is that a drone incident, or are we talking about something, you know, more serious, where like the Langley incident, where there's multiple drones operating over a facility for multiple days? So, you know, again, I don't have any statistics in front of me, but just the reality is that these small aircraft are now.
Again, Langley's referring to that Langley again, right? That was they were up there for, what was it, 2 weeks or something like that, and they couldn't bring these things down.
Ubiquitous across the United States and the world. I have a very close relative of mine who's a drone pilot, and you know, he flies his drone all over and does amateur photography. And you know, what if that drone gets blown or carried by the wind too close to a facility, or you know, they don't understand the FAA rules, et cetera, et cetera. So,
well, you have to, you don't have to take a course to fly these things because it's under a certain weight, okay? But anything above that, you have to do a course. You have to understand of how to, like, the implications of what could happen if you don't fly these things properly, right? And nobody or very few people fly drones when it's super windy because they know it's not a good idea, right? Because not only you can't control it, but also these are expensive things, right? Especially the heavier ones. They're super expensive, and you ain't gonna risk flying your drone in high winds. You ain't gonna do it. Especially not near a bloody naval base, an army naval base.
So this is something that the department, the FAA, and others are looking at in this modern era of small aircraft. How do we make sure that we're responsibly protecting our assets while at the same time not assuming every single aircraft is going to be a threat? So thank you, Charlie.
Welcome back. I hate to go on about it too. However,
please do drone on.
I have to drone on. This is the third time in 2 weeks. They appear to be coordinated, persistent operations, not the work of a hobbyist. There are reports out of Britain that 60 military personnel have been deployed, 60 British personnel have been deployed. Does this come down to the MOD? Is it down to the Home Office? I mean, there are other ways of taking down drones without shooting them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're right. And again, I won't speak for the MOD. And as I highlighted, of course, the U.S. Military are guests in England, in the United Kingdom, at the invitation of the government of the United Kingdom. So certainly working very closely with the authorities there. We are taking it seriously. We're monitoring, taking appropriate measures. Again, I'm not going to get into the specific TTPs in terms of when and if we feel that we need to take something down. At this point, the assessment is that these do not pose any type of effect on our operations or safety of our personnel. So I don't have an answer. I'd have to refer you to USAFE, but I mean, it's not uncommon if we have small teams that go around the world that are specialists in various capabilities. So I don't have an answer to that question. But I mean, you've got.
The other thing I don't understand is if this guy is speaking from the heart and the truth, right? It just seems like they just haven't got a clue. They can't do anything. They don't want to do anything. They haven't got a clue. What are these things just flying about? Take one down. Just take one down and inspect it. What is it? Where has it come from? Has it got any surveillance stuff on it? Has it got any weapons on it? And then you can come and say, well, we took one down. And don't worry, they're just a hobbyist DJI bloody drone, right? Just take one down.
Got RAF Mildenhall, RAF Lakenheath, RAF Feltwell, all those bases are in close proximity. Literally minutes away from each other. So, again, we'll continue to keep an eye on it. But as of right now, I would just, caution jumping to conclusions about what this is and who's doing it. And we'll just, continue to keep you updated.
I've not seen any pictures of these things. I've not seen any video footage of these things over the bases. Okay. Which is also a bit of a strange thing. Why is there no footage or photos of these things? If you've got them, please send them my way. But I would love to see them. This video's gone a little bit off course. I wasn't expecting to be talking about this as much as I have been. Okay? And I feel a little bit, I don't know, I've got to try to remain unbiased, right? Because I have to remind myself that there's a huge part of me that is excited about the UFO thing and almost wants there to be UFO sightings and things like this going on because it excites me and I want to believe. But I do have to respect and listen to the people high up who are telling us what's actually going on, what they know, what they don't know, and the reasons behind why they're doing these things or not doing these things or saying these things. Okay, I do have to because I've got to try to control my bias, right? But I'm interested in what you have to say about this thing going on here, right? Do you think these are just random man-made drones from a hobbyist that people, people going out having a laugh, flying over? Do you think they're alien technology drones? Do you think they're drones from another country? It just, when I say these things, it just doesn't add up. Nothing adds up. If they were hobbyists, they should have been shot down, brought down. But they're not. If they were from another country, they more than likely would have been shot down. But they're not. Why are they leaving them? That's the question. And that's why when they say, we don't actually know what they are, we'll keep you informed, it's like, come on, you can't pull that. You can't pull that. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, in fact, I'm probably going to record it now for tomorrow's video. I'm going to show you the videos that people have sent me of what I've missed these last few days and what you've probably missed as well. Because some of the videos, it's going to be a fun video tomorrow. I'm sorry if this has put a little bit of a downer. I like to try to keep things positive and high energy, but today I was just a little bit like, I'm frustrated a little bit. And I think it's because I'm taking this a little bit more seriously now. I think that's what it is. I'm taking it a little bit more seriously. I really want to try to find out what's going on about this. And when I feel like the wool's been pulled over my eyes, it's a little bit frustrating. So tell me what you think. Tune in tomorrow and check out the videos that I'm going to show you and what people have sent me. I'm going to call it a night on this video, okay? And then we're going to move on. Right. I don't know how this video is going to turn out. I hope I don't get hate for being negative, Mr. Negative, Mr. Negative Bum, right? I don't mean it to be. But, well, whatever. Fucking just subscribe if you want to subscribe, and you'll see the videos tomorrow, okay? Love you lots. Take care. Bye-bye.